Hey everybody, Mason X / Luke here. Just showing off the PCSS percentage closer soft shadows NVIDIA implementation that I got. Apologize for my mic being crap. I left my headset over at my dad's house, so I'm just making do with an old webcam for now. Yeah, so show you here. As you can see, I've got it got the sample count turned down pretty well. As you can see, it's just a little bit of softness. Works pretty well for such a low sample count. I've got an AMD FX 9590 octa-core, well, 4 physical cores, 8 threads, 5 gigahertz, and then 2 GTX 970 Strixes. It's got a little bit of factory overclock. So definitely not lacking on hardware here, but even still, I mean, I can pump this all the way up to 128, 128. Let me get some real nice full blur, and then still handles it alright. But obviously this is overkill. Still getting like 60 frames a second, even recording. But big thing you can turn down is you can see I'm not getting hardly any difference. Change my blocker count here down to I think something like yeah, obviously once you start getting down real low, 3. No, I mean I like to keep it somewhere between like 16 and 24 is plenty fine. Percentage closer samples is probably your biggest change. You can see when I get over 64 it changes. I've got a few different arrays set up here. 32, 64, and 128, so you're not putting too much in at once. It should work on DX9 and shader model 3, but I was getting, when I was trying to build it, I was getting a message that I had too many, that the index of some register was too high. I'm just thinking it's that 128. I might just bump it down to 64 max anyways, since, see, there really isn't a whole lot benefit there. Yeah, yeah, even 64 samples, 24, like the blocker samples, that actually determines what do you call it, where kind of the edges are to search, and then the these samples kind of smooth it out a little bit. So as long though as I mean, as long as you got just a decent number of these, it'll give it a good enough area to start searching that the PCF samples can just smooth it out to nothing. Make it real nice. As you can see, I can go all the way down to pretty much hard shadows here. Technically, I could turn it down a little further, but I got a little limited in the code on the mono behavior attached, just because obviously this kind of looks ugly. I wouldn't go any lower or harder than that. Kind of like just a little bit of, just enough to kind of start smoothing her out. Here, let's turn that down, turn off maximize on play. I'll show you actually a little bit more of what I'm working with here. I did post this today to my GitHub. I'll show you this. It's just the standard PCF soft shadow. You can see Just about, sorry about the banding shadow acne there. That obviously you can bias that away, but I've got my own biases set up for the PCF to get rid of it, so I don't worry about it with just regular old soft shadows. You can see it's just as smooth there. The edge is just as soft as all the way out here, because regular soft shadows don't actually care about the distance from the caster, the tree, to the receiver, the ground. So it stays just as smooth. That's kind of the whole point here. Obviously you can tweak some settings, change distances here. Actually, let's see, go to the quality. Oh, I have that locked. I don't know why. So I do have it on 2 cascades. One thing to note, oh actually, wow. 4 cascades is working a lot better than I expected. Wait, did it turn it back on? Yeah. Usually 4 cascades, any other sort of thing like that, the cascades do not usually play well at all. I'm trying to see. No? Weird. Usually you can see very sharply defined. We'll turn off the blending. No? No? This is really weird. Usually these the cascades do not work well at all. We'll try down to 2. We'll see if we can. No, usually you can see a very sharply defined circle on the ground that's kind of the spherical distance away from you, where it goes from one cascade level, so one. Actually look at the thing. So it goes from one kind of level of detail, one distance off to the next. Obviously, if we jump up to 4, you can see a pretty big difference between the closest one down in the bottom left and the furthest one up top right. Usually, yeah, you get a very sharply defined line. And it just looks awful. Really makes it easy to see. But that's actually really nice if whatever I've been kind of messing around with has taken care of that. As I said, it is on GitHub today. Finally released it. Finally got it working with 5.6 F3, the latest as of I think March 27th was when this most recent version was released. But yeah, like I said, working pretty nice right now. I do have rotation of the samples, which relies on some here, we'll turn this down a little bit so you can kind of see it a little better. So you can kind of see how it swims a little bit, how you got the rotation, the noise that makes it randomly rotate the samples using the same kernel, but just rotated X, Y, and just 2D rotation. But you can see that it does make it swim a little bit if you do have a low sample count. Obviously 11 is pretty low, so we'll move up to decent 24. I mean, honestly, if you've got a fair softness here, you know, I don't think you're gonna need a whole lot softer than this. You really shouldn't have any issues with it. Otherwise, I would like to look into maybe using an actual noise. Right now I'm just using a let's see where I have got it here. Right now I'm using a super crappy noise, yeah, just the value noise, just staticky random noise. That's just using a couple trig functions, so not smooth at all, nothing sort of simplexy, Perlin sort of coherent noise. So it just jumps randomly between 0 and 1 based on, currently I've got it in world space position. Might think going with screen space, but like I said, seeing is actually, at least for me, it's pretty performant right now. Might try adding a probably simplex noise, just simple 3D simplex noise, world space, or even 2D simplex noise, just for the what you call it, screen space. Yeah, let's see. So as you can kind of see here, it does apply on, I mean, any objects, at least with a directional light, because it is using the screen space light. I don't think, yeah, I don't think spot is going to work. Let's try 100. Oh no, I got a little sticky there. Bump it out. Yeah, like I was saying, yeah, that's using just regular PCF. Do have to work to get it to work with point and spot, which I've seen somebody on the asset store has one. It's $15 though. I'm not going to buy it right now because I am completely flat broke, maybe even worse than just that. But I am using the you go edit, project settings, graphics. You can replace some of these other ones. So I'm using the screen space shadows, which is basically just a regular old image effect. Why am I doing it that way? I just fixed it today now, where if you turn it off, it does switch back and forth between regular old PCF soft shadows and PCSS. Which technically it is using PCF, but that is for the once it's found the blocker, once it's found kind of a wider area, then it does a bunch of samples, you know, in this case 24, you know, up to 128 depending on what you're doing there, and then it samples those and then averages them out, sums them all up, divides them by the number of samples, averages it. So you get that. Did have to change around a few things, like this right here is the near clip plane in the quality. It's this, or near plane offset, which I'm entirely sure exactly how to use that properly here. I mean, I get the gist of it, but so I'm using that. Obviously higher resolution is better, technically. So it's 4096 on I think max for very high, but technically you can set custom shadow resolution, but actually it really does not do anything. I have to turn it off, turn it back on, but as you can see, get down real nice close, and oops. Let's see about getting in real close. So let's sorry, super boring here, just kind of trying to show off everything. because I have been working on it all night again, trying to get it all working with 5.6, because they changed some things and it was not playing nice. Actually, it would not show any shadows at all, so I had to rip everything out of my old shader and put it into a new what do you call it? Yeah, personally, I'm not seeing anything here. I have done some actual picture comparisons before and after, whatever, and yeah, I don't see anything. Now, this uses quality settings. You can set the shadow resolution, though, as I said, to whatever. Let's look at this. Haven't noticed any anti-aliasing. Doesn't seem to do anything. Deferred or forward, it really doesn't do anything. Even though, as you can see, I do not have bitmaps enabled by default. I'll turn those back off. Trilinear does seem to do a little bit of something, which is weird because trilinear should really only be working with the bitmaps, not, as you can see, don't have any bitmaps. Suppose bilinear, well, trilinear works with bitmaps. Sorry, bilinear still works on single bitmap, so I guess that does make sense. Maybe if not trilinear, at least though bilinear should add just a little bit of softness and blending. Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot here. I'm just using a float on the red channel. Don't need more than one channel because all it is storing the depth. Because I cannot sample the up here. Sorry, my voice is a little rough. Kind of singing and rocking out all night, but yeah. So if you declare a shadow map, you can only do a comparison sample. So you do have to feed in a depth, and it'll just give you 0 or 1, or I guess maybe 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. I think it might do kind of soft blending based on 2x2, a kernel tap or a fragment where it samples the 2x2 fragment on the fragment shader. But anyways, that really only gives you just like a 0 or 1 if it's lower or higher. But what we need is the actual depth, not just the compared depth, not just if it's higher or lower. We need the accurate 0 to 1. So I use this shadow map for sampling and comparing the depth in the hard shadow shader, which this still works with. It's right here. Just uses the standard old hard shadows. Yeah, because it actually really did not take anything to do that. It would have been more work to get rid of it. And then it also uses that, because it does that kind of little bit of smoothing, does 4 samples, 4 taps for a single, what do you call it, single texture read, gets 4 samples in the area. It samples the 4 corners of a square right there of that fragment. So it does give it a little extra smoothing if I use that rather than just the depth and then using like step to compare. But what do you call it, for like the blocker though, because as a PCF I use that, but for the blocker though I do need the raw depth to compare to the eye depth, the depth of the vertex or of the fragment. Compare like that depth to the depth of the shadow caster back there. These are my Poisson offsets. These are the samples. So as I said, I've got 32, 64, and 128. I will upload. I used another program to actually generate them. I modified it a little bit though, so I think I got that off GitHub. I'll upload a fork or something of that. Otherwise, I'll talk to the owner to see if I can, or if it's free and open source, I'll just upload that. All I did was just make it easier to just straight output these, but I actually have a let's see if I can open it here. I actually did make a little tool to order these so that even if you're using, out of the, say, even there's the 32, even if you're just using like 12, 16, a smaller number, it's not just 16 random ones, it's 16 that kind of sample the area as best as possible. Obviously more samples are always better, but it does try and spread it out and cover the most area, and then oh yeah, is working with Can't Like Coding, Patreon for them, really cool guys playing around with these there, I'll show it off. Yeah, the what do you call it, soft shadows here, we call it the dithered shadows. Just super cool, semi-transparent. It uses, as you can see, literally just dithers the Shadowcaster output to the shadow map. We'll actually go to, yeah, sorry, just rambling here. Kind of crazy night working, but finally getting there. Finally released it. No, these are all his. Let's go to PCSS. That's right stuff. I think I just called it test. No. Ah. Maybe it's been a while since I've been on. No. Seriously. Sorry, I have not been on this this one in a little while here. Just swore that I had. So there's these Poisson tools though. Here. Oh, references in that scene only. Can I do type of scene? No. That was a really old scene, I think. Crap. Did I think that might have overwritten. Yeah. I think when I loaded that in, I think it overwrote that scene, which sucks. Was yeah, I had some pretty good the PCSS stuff here. Whatever, I'll throw it up on one really quick. Nope. Alright, whatever. Close. Alright, securing empty. Throw my Poisson tools on here. Yeah, so you can see here, IntelliSort. Okay. Come on. So I did this. It's got some different types of sorting. So here I've got the actual raw samples. So I was doing 128 last, but left the other ones in just in case I wanted to go back and mess with those. But I did those using a Poisson, so you can see here they're all fairly evenly spread out in a circle. But the whole point of that IntelliSort thing, 335. So the whole point of the data length. Save this back up. Alright, I mean, you can always skip ahead, I guess, in the video if you want. Alright, here. Yeah, IntelliSort. Yeah, so you can see here, spreads them out more, and then you move them around or whatever. Kind of manually do it. So I took the Poisson as a basis, but I did spread them out. And so the whole idea here is, oh, right away. Yeah, I can write up something a little better on here. But as you can see, kind of the whole idea though is to get them all spread out though, so that it's sampling pretty evenly. So that even if you have a smaller number, they're all spread out as far apart from each other as possible. That's this IntelliSort thing. I guess is a little influenced by Microsoft, my naming conventions there. But yeah, so the whole idea is to try, and so if you have like 54, got basically half here, instead of just sampling all near the center or just randomly, which could leave open gaps, this one it selects the next furthest one each time, so that get as even of coverage pretty much as possible. And you know, you can always scooch them around a little bit, kind of balance it. I spent probably far too long doing that. It's kind of, you know, just showing you here, it's kind of relaxing actually to try and kind of work them all evenly spaced, which Poisson does pretty well, but it's still random in the sense that like Apple had to fix the random shuffle to not play two songs by like the same artist in a row, even though it technically is perfectly random and fine. Yeah, it just doesn't match the human intuition of random. It doesn't work quite as well. Anyways, you can do that. You know, if you change the data, do different Poisson offsets, and then you print it. Take that, print it out. You just copy and paste that into the thing. Whatever though. So that is that. Save that and leave it. Yeah, so I was also testing, I don't need to sign in, not that it even showing you, but, what do you call it? Sorry, my brain is kind of gone. I really wanted to, make a video, show it, post it today, so I can kind of just rest and get some feedback, before I come back at it. Yeah, just code binge is kind of my life. It's kind of what I do. What is it doing? Okay, player. That's right. I was going to show you. Can't do it in play mode. But do it right here. So DirectX 11 is using the reversed Z buffer so that it gets better shadow resolution at far distances. It flipped it, you know, 1 - 0 sort of inverse thing, compared to like OpenGL embedded systems ES3, which does not. So like you can see, yeah, here I have to do checks. So I have to check if it's larger, if it is reversed, or if it's smaller, if it's not, and just kind of stuff like that. Multiply by -1, subtract from 1 to flip it. But that was giving me a lot of trouble. That actually gave me some of the most trouble. But so you can see it will switch to OpenGL ES3, and it. I mean, there's some slight differences, some slight shifts. I think just from the some small things about world space positions and the way the UV does, the screen UV. I think it's about the only reason why just kind of the noise shifts, but otherwise looks the same on that. Works the same on all these other ones. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to check that I am recording, because it said press Alt-Z to share your gameplay. Just kind of worrisome when I actually am currently recording, just using Shadowplay, because they're easy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Make it super soft, just ridiculous, but you've got that so it multiplies by itself, so it's nice and exponential. But yeah, I mean, the whole point here is I mean, not completely hard, I guess, if we do like that, pretty hard, and then it goes out to soft, so it falls off further it gets, just like actual shadows, really, you know. Further it gets, I thought it was atmospheric scattering, but it's actually just the width of the light source. The width of the sun is enough to shine at slightly different angles and produce that, apparently, although obviously scattering is going to have something to do with it, but I think that would be better approximated by like GI and stuff. I was going to show, oh yeah, so light gets up there, you can see it does get a lot sharper, and then as it spreads out, it gets a lot softer. These gradient biases, there we go. See it up in the top right corner. That is our what do you call it? Blending, or Cascade blending, because it does not work right with spheres. Even normally, just PCF, it says it doesn't. I turned it on anyways because it works better to try than to just leave it completely, yeah, completely off. But the real issue I'm thinking here is that so as it gets further away, actually we can do that. So in the smaller, closer area, the same softness will spread it out much further, or a much smaller area, because it'll go, say, 2 pixels to the left is a smaller distance in world space than with the far one, where 2 pixels can be, 3 meters to the left instead of, the 3 centimeters or whatever. Go with a little metric, because I prefer it logically. It just doesn't make sense intuition wise. But yeah, so I have to do that'll be something to figure out, is how to bias the softness, how to bias the UV sampling spread based on the Cascade. I think that's the major issue, but I'm not exactly sure how those Cascade weights work and how to turn them into a stable distance or whatever for that. That is something that would be nice to work with other people. I mean, open source, that's kind of the benefit. But yeah, that's pretty much that. My brain is not working right now, and I can't really think of anything else that I need to do. Show off. I guess I already know. Resolution is the resolution of the render texture. This is the shadow map. Gets blitted over to it. It gets copied so I can read the depth, the raw depth instead of just the comparison depth. So higher resolution helps a little bit with that, but I see pretty diminishing returns. Even after like 2048 and stuff, really doesn't show a huge difference. Compared to 4096, custom shadow resolution lets you change the shadow resolution obviously to a custom value. I've got it clamped to powers of 2 because nice square textures. Block for sample count, that's it. Checks so turn this down. This is basically hard channels, just with some offsets, but it kind of checks in an area around, and if it goes from, say, point, I don't know if you can see my mouse, point in the center here, it's going to try and check for any blockers. It'll just shoot out towards the sun, find nothing, but right here on the edge, more samples will mean that kind of finds the average distance, which will be right here on the edge of this tree, and then if it's found that, it can use that to do the nice blurring, because it needs to find the distance from the source, because obviously out here it's going to blur and sample a larger area with that PCF than right here, where it wants to almost hard sample just a very small area. Rotate samples uses, what do you call it? So rather than each one rotate or samples the same offset, so sample on grid point right here will sample up, down, left, right, or whatever. This one will also up, down, left, right, up, down, each one. So you get artifacts. This one just takes that valley noise to kind of rotate it in a circle along this 2D plane. Well, along the screen space plane. So the screen space UV rotates it in a circle, just kind of randomly, so that you get a better coverage. which makes it a lot smoother, but you do get the kind of fuzzy effect. Again, though, I like to try using like a coherent noise. I've got some GPU simplex noise stuff that I'd try next. Softness, pretty obvious. So the static gradient, I suppose we can turn all the gradients down. So the static gradient works kind of similarly to this bias. So you gotta watch out for Peter panning, because it will pull it away from the edges. Trying to see if makes a I mean, you can kind of maybe see it right there. Blocker, I currently have not found a good use for that, and if anything, it causes problems with some of the other Cascade levels and stuff. This PCF bias, though, is very helpful. So if you have a wide softness here, so you can kind of see out here where because of the wide range and it's sampling from slightly below the plane, just because of the angles involved. So you use this, the gradient, uses the derivative to get rid of some of that. That can also, though, have can overdo it and kind of cause a little Peter panning sort of thing, as you might be able to see here. But for larger softnesses, especially where it's sampling a wider range, where I really wish I knew whether or not it showed the mouse. Anyways, if you have any questions on that, I can talk to you, show you the paper, kind of explain it a little better, because like I said, I do not know if my mouse is showing up. I just really want to get this recorded and uploaded so I can post it and have people start trying it out and tell me what they think. This Cascade blend distance is, well, it's not going to do anything with no cascades. So this blend distance is, well, if it's 0, it's completely off, but as you can see here, it kind of uses that to hide it. Like this, and the split sphere distance does not work because it's just using some sort of linear distance rather than like a spherical distance, like a vertical, like linear. But I find not 0.25. 0.5 works pretty well if you have a, generally this is 33/60, 1/3, 2/3 split. Works pretty well. Need to mess around with Cascade blend distances because it doesn't work properly with PCF and the split spheres instead of whatever linear thing the other option is. I haven't actually run into it. It doesn't work great, just standard soft shadows. It really doesn't work with this, but works better than nothing because obviously we have nothing. Poor dog's flying out the door. Yeah, you get this ugliness. We'll figure that out. You, me, anybody who wants to help. Format, I'd leave that. You only need the red channel, and then float, because you want to have high value depth information going in, and then afterwards, you can output half or something for the actual shadow map, the screen space shadow map. But for the actual depth map, the actual shadow depth map, you definitely want that nice and high information, so you're not losing a bunch of precision for no reason. Trilinear, I think it only needs to be bilinear. I don't think we should get any difference, because that says, I was thinking trilinear would rely on bitmap filtering. Bilinear is just filtering within a single bitmap. We're using text2d LOD to sample just the non-bitmapped full res thing anyways, so bilinear should be the most, but it should be a little better in point. I added this because I was messing around with one of the other, I think it was the Atom demo, had some detail shadows that were getting added in the after shadow map pass, so it did not work to do after shadow map with this. It was missing those. So try adding it for that. Just leave that with after shadow map for right now. Shader name. Just the shader name. The actual shader. Yeah, and that is everything. I'm going to put this up on YouTube and post it on Reddit. It's probably where you saw this. Definitely, if you've seen this, you've seen it on YouTube, unless you're on my hard drive or something, my SSD. I really prefer you're not, unless you want to help me with my games, I guess. But yeah, just get a hold of me the regular ways. Trying to be better about it. Kind of got my mojo back. Anyways, if you sat through and listened to me blabber about all of that for that long, you are a saint. You know, pop bless. Put some extra links and stuff, you know, GitHub and stuff down in the doobly-doo. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and hope to hear from you. Hope to work with you on making shadows in Unity look good. Thank you.